So in this clip, we're going to break down some healthy habits, the brain for kids in the transformative years of their life, younger years, 4 through age 10. And Jim's going to talk about some things that he does, and then we'll look deeper into the brain. What can you do for a kid when their brain is so, the plasticity is at a high level through those early development ages?
So there are many things, and in no particular order. Things that we're looking at is sensory integration. Motor skills help babies to learn and develop. That's why crawling is so important. Those cross laterals to develop your brain, left and right brain communication. So it's through movement. The primary reason we have a brain is to control our movement. And as I mentioned, as your body moves, your brain grooves. So, children, getting them to move, and just even watching my son, months ago, learning how to walk, and now he's running and climbing and handling objects. So movement is really key for cognitive development. Getting them to explore, allowing them to explore, aids in their spatial intelligence, their spatial awareness, allows them to understand problem solving.
So how different is a child's brain than an adult's brain? And what are some things you focus on when you work with kids from the ages 4 through 12, perhaps?
So I actually published the world's largest study on imaging, 62,454 scans on how the brain changes. And little kids' brains are very busy. And it peaks about the age of 7, and then sort of this slow decline until about 25, and then it stays really stable. Well, what's that decline? It's their brains become myelinated. So myelination is so important. So it's a simple concept. Your nerve cells, and you have 100 billion of them, become wrapped with a white fatty substance called myelin. And it starts in the back of the brain. So when babies are about 2 months old, their occipital lobes, back of the brain that are involved in vision, become myelinated. And so when you smile at a baby, they smile back. And then very slowly from your occipital lobes to your parietal lobes, so kids can't play catch early on, but when they're like 3 or 4, they can start playing catch because their parietal lobes, which is involved in visual spatial awareness, become myelinated. And the prefrontal cortex, front part of your brain, is not fully myelinated until you're about 25 or 26. And if you disrupt that myelinization, you can disrupt the rest of their lives. So it's very important. And that's why the brain actually starts to calm down, because once the neurons are myelinated, they work 10 to 100 times faster. So if you put insulation on a copper wire, well, the electricity is now faster because it's not diffuse, right? It's more focused. And the other thing that happens is pruning, that the brain has this, if you don't use it, you lose it. And so for those tracks that aren't used, they basically get pruned, like a gardener would prune a rose bush, which is why it's important to expose kids to different kinds of activity. And physical activity is really important, which is why you shouldn't let them have screens until they're teenagers, because the screens focus them, and the thumb representation, because they use thumbs to manage the screens, the thumb representation in the brain is now larger, but it's not really what you need to be human. It's what you need if you're a monkey. So it's like, no, this is not a good thing.
Probably not.
And you want them outside, you want them playing, you want them exercising, because as Jim was saying, those coordination activities, crawling, running, riding a bike, are good for their cerebellar development. And the cerebellum is the Rodney Dangerfield part of the brain because it gets no respect. I hate that dates me because a lot of young people don't know who Rodney Dangerfield was.
Go do your homework, young kids.
But that was his shtick, right? I get no respect.
Yeah.
Well, this is 10% of the brain's volume, but has half of the brain's neurons. This is incredibly important, which is why coordination athletics really important that of course don't give you concussions. That's why I'm not a fan of football, and flag football is a gateway sport to brain damage. So I always say golf is good, tennis is terrific, table tennis is the world's best sport, pickleball, badminton, and people go, badminton, you should have seen it at the Olympics.
Oh my gosh.
So crazy.
Wild. It's wild.
Crazy good cerebellar activity. And the cerebellum's involved in learning. And so if you're doing things to turn off your cerebellum, you'll be less coordinated, but you're also going to have trouble learning.
Now, Jim did say you guys played ping pong, but he did not say who won. Are you here to set the record straight?
Well, it's pretty clear who won.
I love it.